Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, and I just realized we have 10 weeks till Christmas. So if you're a Christmas crafter, it's time to get busy. And what I've decided I'm going to do is, because I haven't done any quilling for a few weeks, is I'm going to try to make at least one snowflake style per week. And that way you'll have at least 10 different ones, assuming I can actually keep up with it. So we're going to design this first one, or I designed yesterday. I kind of played around with a few ideas and a few different sizes of different objects to make these rings, which will then become these eye shapes or marquee shapes. So I started off by using this Border Buddy, I think is what it's called. I don't remember what it's called, but anyway, it comes in circles, triangles, squares, and ovals, and I think there's actually two more. I feel like there's 6 of them, but I ended up, wasn't really comfortable working with this. So then I switched to this, just wrapping around this bottle, but it was still too big for me. So I switched to this bottle, and it was still too big, bigger than I wanted. So I eventually just tried the zig marker to get my circles with, and it actually, I feel like, is a pretty good size. Now you could go bigger, but I was just playing around. So what you do is you're going to glue you're just going to take your strip and you're just going to keep wrapping, and then you'll glue it together. And you wrap it around whatever round object you want to use. Then, once you've got your circle and it's dry, you're going to pinch it and then push it back together a little bit to get your marquee shape. Like so. So you're going to do that. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see that better. And let's put it up here. It's a lighter color. Not sure that helps. But you're going to do that 6 times, because as we've talked about before, snowflakes in real life or in nature have 6 points. Now, if you want to do more points, you can. I don't think anybody's going to school you on that. But you never know. Some 8-year-old might come up to you and say, "Grandma, snowflakes in real life only have 6 points." I mean, you're taking a risk there. But if you're not worried about that, or if you just like the mandala style where you might have 8, 10, 12, 16, 18 points, whatever it is, you can certainly make as many as you want. But for a traditional, actual, real-life snowflake, you should have 6 points. So that's what we're working with. But again, like I said, if you've got, unless you've got a precocious youngster who likes to point out things, you might want to stick with the traditional. Or maybe unless you don't have, I don't know. You get the idea. So anyway, now we've got our 6 points, and then you're going to glue them together. Now, I don't have a template for these yet. I'm going to try and make one if I remember to later when I'm actually working on my laptop. But you're just going to kind of try to get them centered as much as you possibly can. This one looks like it's longer for some reason. They're all the same size, but so once you've got those 6 and you've got them glued together, then you're going to start making your centers. Now, I played around with different styles of centers. This is the one I ended up going with, this marquee or eye shape. But you can see, you can also do I don't even know what that technique's called, where you just keep making little circles on your string. Or you can make other little shapes to fill in, or to fill in the outside. So there's a lot of options here to play with. And what I decided to do was we're going to make the traditional marquee shape or eye shape, and let's see, I did that in a light blue. Let's do it in a light blue. Let me grab one here. So I used a whole strip based on the size of my my tool here. One strip seemed to work really well. And so then you're just going to, we've done this all before, but in case you're new to this, you're going to use, and my strips are 10.5 inches. You're going to wrap this around your slotted tool, and then you're going to roll it up. Now, I didn't measure mine this time. I usually do. But my desk is kind of a mess. I didn't want to try to put anything else on here. But I think if you go to about a 1/2 inch, you should be pretty good. So, once that's uncoiled a little bit, then we're going to add our glue. And that was way too much glue. Just glue down our end here. And then you're just going to pinch it into that marquee or eye shape. You want to kind of keep the center centered so you don't squish it. And then we're just going to see if that'll fit in there. It should. It looks like it will. Yeah. So once you've done that, then you're going to glue that inside. And I just put glue around the outside of the centerpiece and then kind of gently tucked it in there. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make, and for that we use the darker blue, you're going to want to make this teardrop shape that's going to fit in between these points here. So again, we're going to relax our strip a little bit, or give it a pre-coil, and load your slotted tool. And I like to stick out about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. And that makes a nice little kind of S shape in the center, as opposed to the just kind of bent shape that you get. So I'm just kind of trying to get it all level, which is not working. And again, let's come up here where you can see it. I'm just going to kind of let it relax until it's about the 1/2 inch size. And then we're going to glue that down. I'm just going to kind of use my needle tool here to help spread my glue out a little bit. And then we're going to make our teardrop shape. So we're just going to kind of squeeze that tip there. And so that will actually just slide right into there. Let me get a contrasting piece of paper here. That's probably all gonna, yeah, it is. It's gonna mess up on me, but that's okay. So we'll kind of just quickly try to put this all back together in our snowflake shape. I say quickly, but that doesn't actually seem to be quick, does it? Okay, so it's a little crooked, but you get the idea. So then you're going to put one of these teardrop shapes in between every set of points. So then for the next shape we did, I used my husking board, and I put this I used this spot here at the bottom. Let's slide this over a little bit. A little bit more. Okay, so to start, I'm going to take these two out of here. The two on the left and the two on the right, just to give myself some room. And I used a 1/2 strip for these, so that would be 5 1/4. And I used the light blue again, so let me grab another one of those. Pardon my reach. Give it a bit of a pre-coil, even though I don't think you really need it. Just measure this here to make sure I know what I'm working with. Alright, so to do this, we're going to use our slotted tool that's a part of our husking board. And we are going to load the slotted tool. I might have glue all over it. Okay, there we go. And again, I like to let it wrap a little bit, and then you're going to start rolling it up. And once the paper meets itself, you're going to add a little bit of glue. Okay, so give that a press and let that glue set up. And we want to make sure that we're all the way at the bottom of that slotted tool. Looks like we're pretty close. Okay, so then we're going to put that pin back in here right underneath what's going to be our top pin. And we're going to loop it around, push everything back down. And we're going to glue. I just need a little bit. Alright, so wrap it around and then bring it all the way back up. Put your next pin in, just down at an angle. You're going to wrap it down around the bottom after you add a little dollop of glue. Back up at the top, insert your next pin, wrap down around that, toward the bottom, and glue again. Back around the top, add your last pin on the right or left, depending on which way you're working. Glue, wrap it back around, and then the remaining pin on the left or the right. One more little dot of glue. And we're going to hold that for a second. Might as well put my pen back in my glue bottle. Alright, so once your glue is holding firmly, you're going to pull that out of there. You're going to pull this off the slotted pin. And you're going to trim off this excess here. That's about 1.5 inches, so I would hang on to that. Then you're just, while your glue's still wet, and that is kind of important because once it dries, it's really hard to change the shape of this. You just kind of want to pinch it into a little point. Because then that little point is going to nestle right in here, and you're going to make two, one for either side of this teardrop. And that's going to be your snowflake. So we're going to put this other one together. And we'll come back and see the finished product. Alright, we've got our snowflake all glued together. To finish it off, we're going to add one of these flat back pearls to the center, which is from this bag of assorted colors and sizes. I've had forever. It says made in China. Scrapbook for craft. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to use a glue dot along with some actual glue to make sure that doesn't go anywhere. So we're just going to kind of lay that right on there. Add a little bit of glue to the back. Just to give it a little extra sticky. And then we're going to try to get that down there in the center. Okay. Feel like that's pretty close. So I'm just going to give it a little pressure. Put our glue pen back in. And then it's up to you if you want to add a little bit of the wink of Stella. Sorry, I've got everything flying everywhere. Or if you'd rather not, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit to the darker parts. Now, I did this in various shades of blues and white. You can do it all in white if you want. You can do it all in blue. I wanted you to be able to see the different sections of the design. Let me give that a little shake first. So Just going to carefully try to stay just on the dark blue. And again, this is the Wink of Stella. Comes in a pen, but you can also buy it, a similar product. If it's not the same thing, it's extremely similar, from who's it called? I've forgotten the name of it now. I've shown it before. My cat's crying because she wants in. She just needs to know what's going on at all times. Anyway, I'm just gently, carefully painting that on the dark blue, so it gives it just a little hint of sparkle. I'm going to squeeze my pen just a little bit to see if I can get a little bit more out. It's getting kind of dry. There we go. And we'll get these last two here. Now you can do, see, you could have come in the whole time, Gypsy. You're standing out there crying when you just had to push the door. Ladies and gentlemen, do you ever get tired of feeling like you're the only adult in the house? I do. I'm having one of those days. Alright, so get this last snowflake covered here. Just want to add a little bit of sparkle. And if I ever remember what that other product is called, I will link it below. But basically it's in a little jar, and it's just liquid and you just paint it on. But it's the same stuff, and it comes in different colors, not just clear. So I don't think that that's going to show up too much for you, but I can see it here. Let me tip it a little bit. Oh, you can see a little bit of sparkle. Isn't that pretty? So I'm thinking I will make these. You could put them on cards, or you could use them on your Christmas tree, or some nice swag or something like that. That's what I'm thinking I'll do. Make like a little valance or something like that and hang them on. So if you don't have hooks, you could run a little bit of string up through one of the points, or you could glue a piece of string in when you're gluing everything together. Whatever works for you. But aren't those pretty? That's Snowflake Snowflake number 1, and hopefully we'll get 10 of these done before Christmas. And they will probably all be in these colors, just that way they'll be similar and go together. But they're all going to probably use a very similar style with the center, because I do have a few other designs I want to play with. And then we might branch out a little bit, and you can make them bigger or smaller. But anyway, this is number 1. Thanks for joining me. I hope you guys have a happy crafty day.